There is something profoundly disturbing happening right now, right beneath our very noses. It is a phenomenon that the vast majority of people will go their entire lives without ever noticing, let alone understanding. Yet, this hidden mechanism determines absolutely everything about the reality that each of us experiences every single day. I want you to imagine two individuals. Let's say they share the exact same age, the same educational background, and the same qualifications. Perhaps they even grew up in the same neighborhood, walking the same streets. On paper, they are identical. One of them seems to have been born under a lucky star. For this person, doors just open. Opportunities don't just appear. They seem to hunt them down. Relationships flow effortlessly, and success feels like a natural byproduct of simply existing. Then there is the other one. This person is in a constant state of battle. They face interminable obstacles. Every step forward feels like wading through waist-deep mud. They feel as though they are perpetually swimming upstream against an invisible, relentless current. No matter how hard they try, they are met with resistance. The difference, however, is not found in their destiny. It is not written in the stars. It is not karma, and it is certainly not random luck. It isn't found in the business strategies they use, the contacts they have on their phone, or the opportunities they stumble upon. The difference lies in something far more subtle, and at the same time, far more revolutionary. These two people are technically standing in the same room, breathing the same air, but they are inhabiting two completely different realities. They are living in two distinct universes that just happen to overlap in the same physical space. These separate realities don't exist out there in the external world. They exist in here within these individuals. And the most fascinating, perhaps even terrifying part of this puzzle is that each of them has created their own reality without even realizing it. They are doing it through an invisible mechanism, a code, that I am going to teach you how to decipher today. Have you ever walked into a room and noticed how some people instantly become the center of attention, while others, despite their best efforts, remain invisible? How some seem to be magnets for wealth, while others, who work twice as hard, are always struggling to make ends meet. The answer to this mystery isn't found in self-help books or scientific journals or productivity hacks. It isn't found in persuasion techniques or even in your network. It lies in a principle so fundamental to human existence that once you truly understand it, it becomes impossible to continue living as a victim of circumstance. This principle governs every aspect of your experience, from the people you attract to the opportunities that cross your path. It is the secret code that determines whether you live in a reality of abundance or scarcity, of possibility or limitation. It is called the mirror principle. There is a truth that almost no one tells you. Every morning when you wake up, you stand before the most important mirror of your life. It is not the one in your bathroom or the reflection in your phone screen. It is the invisible mirror of reality. And this mirror has a fascinating peculiarity. It never lies. It reflects, with surgical precision, exactly who you believe you are deep down, and exactly how you see the world around you. Not your polite words, not your noble intentions, but your deepest, most ingrained convictions about yourself and about life. Do you believe faithfully that the world is a hostile place? The mirror will say, "Understood, here is hostility." Do you believe that you are unworthy of love? The mirror will reflect back to you situations that confirm your unworthiness. This is a distorted reality. You do not live in an external world. You live in your internal world, projected outward onto the screen of your life. If you look at your life right now and you don't like what you see, if you are unhappy with your finances, your relationships, or your health, there is only one explanation. The image you are projecting onto your internal mirror is distorted, and today I want to help you eliminate that distortion so you can finally see your true essence, not the limited reflection you currently identify with. I know this might sound complex at first. Most people live their entire lives without ever grasping this concept, which is why they feel trapped in a loop. So let me break it down. The metaphor of the mirror means simply this. Every human being carries an internal image, a frequency, that reflects what is happening in their inner world. Everything you experience in life, your bank balance, the quality of your relationships, your career satisfaction, is nothing more than a reflection of what you are experiencing inside yourself. Any problem that exists on the outside is merely a symptom, a shadow cast by an internal state. But here is where we get it wrong. We love to believe the opposite. We love to believe the problem is out there. Think of the mirror of reality as the most loyal friend you will ever have. It is unwavering in its loyalty to your beliefs. It validates everything you hold true in the depths of your subconscious. If deep down you see yourself as someone who never gets a break, the mirror will respond, "Perfect. Here is more evidence that you never catch a break." If you believe that making money is a constant struggle and requires blood, sweat, and tears, the mirror will nod and say, "Agreed. Here are more obstacles to ensure you struggle for every cent." The mirror is incapable of judging whether your image is good or bad, beneficial or harmful. It simply reflects. It gives you more of what you already are. For years, I lived like the majority of people, trying desperately to change the reflection. I didn't like my financial situation, so I tried to work more hours, force more deals, and push harder against the world. I didn't like my relationships, so I tried to act differently, to be more charming, or to manipulate how others saw me. I was standing in front of a mirror, hating what I saw, and trying to change it by touching the glass. I was trying to comb the reflection's hair instead of my own. This is what 99% of the world is doing right now. They identify with the reflection. They think they are the reflection. Their job title, their bank account, their relationship status. And so they spend their lives trying to change something that is merely an echo. The secret, therefore, is not found in manipulating the external world. The secret lies in changing the person standing in front of the mirror. When you learn to change who you truly are, not the false projection you've been carrying, but your actual frequency, the reflection has no choice but to change. It is physics. It is law. And when you understand this, you stop fighting the mirror and start transforming the source. To navigate this, we must look at what separates those who are trapped by the mirror from those who have mastered it. I call these individuals the masters of the mirror, and they all, consciously or unconsciously, apply 4 fundamental secrets. The first secret is what I call the art of conscious projection. Most people project an image onto the mirror of reality purely by accident. They wake up, look at their current problems, the debt, the loneliness, the stress, and they react to them. They let their history dictate their identity. They say, "I am broke because look at my bank account." They are letting the reflection tell them who they are. Masters do the opposite. They project by design. They understand a critical error in human thinking. We are taught to look at the evidence first and then believe. But the mirror requires you to believe first so it can provide the evidence. If you are looking at your life right now to define your self-worth, you are looking at the past. Your current reality is just a residue of your past thoughts and vibrations. It is old news. To change the future, you must stop identifying with the residue. You must ask yourself a new question, not what do I need to do to get what I want, but who must I become to have the life I desire? This is a shift from having to being. You see, you don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. So the first step is to create an identity statement. This isn't a wish list. It is a declaration of your new reality. Most people say, I want to be wealthy. The mirror hears want, which implies lack, and reflects back more wanting. The master says, I am the kind of person who attracts opportunities naturally. I am a generator of value. Instead of saying, I hate my job, the master projects, I am someone who brings excellence to everything I touch, and I am evolving toward my higher purpose. You must forge this character internally before the movie set is built externally. You must walk, talk, and think as this new version of yourself, long before the world gives you a reason to. This is conscious projection. You are telling the mirror who you are, rather than waiting for the mirror to tell you. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Forging a new identity takes immense mental effort. Is there a way to signal this change to the mirror faster? It turns out there is a biological shortcut. Neuroscientists have recently identified a tiny dormant region in the brain, often called the billionaire loophole, that is highly active in the wealthy but overheated by a stress signal in most others. There is a specific, strange 9-word prayer that has been shown to silence that stress signal and activate this dormant region instantly. It helps you hold that new frequency we just talked about, reportedly working 20 times faster than standard visualization. If you want to know what those 9 words are, point your phone's camera at the QR code on your screen right now to watch a short video explaining exactly how this works. I have also pinned the link for you in the top comment below. Once you activate that signal, navigating the delay becomes much easier. Which brings us to the second secret, and this is where most people fail. This is the valley of death for many dreams. I call it the gardener's patience. You need to understand that physical reality is dense. It is heavy. It moves much slower than your thoughts. In the quantum realm, in your imagination, you can change instantly. But down here, in the 3D world, there is a time gap. There is a delay between the moment you change your internal image and the moment the mirror reflects it back to you. This gap is necessary, but it is also maddening if you don't understand it. Imagine a gardener who plants a seed today. He waters it, ensures the soil is perfect, and walks away. He doesn't come back 2 hours later, dig up the seed, and scream at it for not being a tree yet. If he did that, he would kill the seed. He trusts the process. He knows that activity is happening underground, in the dark, where he cannot see it. Yet this is exactly how we treat our lives. We decide to change. We adopt a new mindset. We say, I am abundance. We do this for 3 days. Then we check our bank account, see the same low number, and say, this doesn't work. I'm fooling myself. The moment you do that, you dig up the seed. You reset the mirror. You confirm to the mirror that actually you are still the person who lacks. The master understands the delay. The master knows that consistency is far more powerful than intensity. It doesn't matter how hard you visualize for 5 minutes if you spend the rest of the day complaining about your reality. You must hold the image steady while the reflection is still lagging behind. You must walk through your current reality, which might still look chaotic, with the absolute certainty of the gardener who knows the harvest is coming. You look at the lack and say, "This is just the echo of my past. My future is already written." This patience is not passive waiting. It is an active state of faith. It is knowing that the mirror has no choice but to align with you, as long as you don't break eye contact with your new self. Now let's unlock the third secret. This is a technical nuance of the mirror that can completely derail your progress if you miss it. It is the power of directed focus. There is a glitch in how we understand focus. We think the universe cares about our opinions. We think if we scream, "I hate this debt," that the universe will understand we want the debt gone. But the mirror of reality is impartial. It does not register your emotion of hate or love in the way you think. It registers the subject of your focus. It registers the content. If you wake up every day thinking, "I am so tired of being lonely," what is the subject of that thought? Loneliness. The mirror says, "Understood." Subject, loneliness. Here is more of it. If you say, "I don't want to be sick anymore," the focus is sickness. The mirror reflects sickness. This is why fighting your problems usually makes them bigger. You are feeding them with your attention. The mirror is simply magnifying what you are looking at. To master the mirror, you must learn the discipline of directed focus. You must withdraw your attention from the problem, starving it of energy, and place it entirely on the solution. This is difficult. It requires mental muscle. When your senses are screaming that you are in trouble, you have to calmly pivot your mind to the outcome you desire. Instead of focusing on, "I'm insecure and anxious," you shift your internal dialogue to, "I am building unshakable confidence every day." Instead of, "I need to get out of debt," you focus on, "I am building wealth." It is a subtle shift in language, but a massive shift in vibration. You are changing the signal you are broadcasting. Remember, the mirror cannot reflect what you do not show it. If you stop showing it your frustration and start showing it your vision, the reflection must change. It is not a matter of if, but when. It requires discipline to look away from the car crash of your current circumstances and keep your eyes on the road ahead. But that discipline is the price of freedom. Finally, we arrive at the fourth and most transformative secret, the reverse creation cycle. This is the lifestyle shift that separates the dreamers from the achievers. It is about flipping the script on how you interact with the world. The average person lives in what I call the prison loop. They observe their reality. They feel an emotion based on that reality. They form a belief, and that belief projects the same image back into the mirror, recreating the same reality. It is a closed loop of sameness. The master operates the reverse cycle. Step 1, choose the image consciously. Ignore the current reality. Decide who you are. Step 2, project that image with intensity and emotion. Feel the reality of it now. Step 3, this is the hard part. Ignore the contrary evidence. When the world says no, you smile and know it's temporary. You become, in a positive sense, delusional. You refuse to accept the reflection as the final truth. Step 4, wait for confirmation. Watch for the small synchronicities. Step 5, celebrate the change. When you live this way, something magical happens. The lucky events we talked about in the beginning, they start happening to you. You start to see synchronicities. You meet the right person at the coffee shop. The unexpected check arrives in the mail. These aren't miracles. They are mechanics. It is the mirror finally aligning with your new signal. You have moved from being a thermometer, which just reads the temperature, to being a thermostat which sets it. You are no longer reacting to the movie. You are the director. And when you direct the scene with authority, the actors, the circumstances of your life fall into line.